And notice its position. It's holding on. Now, I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to show you a video. One of the animals is going to be running on the level, and the other one's going to be running up a wall. Which one's which? They're going at 1 meter a second. How many think the one on the left is running up the wall? Okay. The point is, it's really hard to tell, isn't it? It's incredible. We looked at students do this, and they couldn't tell. They can run up a wall at 1 meter a second, 15 steps per second, and they look like they're running on the level. How do they do this? It's just phenomenal. Oh, the one on the right was going up the hill. How do they do this? They have bizarre toes. They have toes that uncurl like party favors when you blow them out, and then peel off the surface like tape. Like if you had a piece of tape and we'd peel it this way. They do this with their toes. It's bizarre. This peeling inspired iRobot that we work with to build mecho-geckos. Here's a legged version and a tractor version, or a bulldozer version. Let's see some of the geckos move with some video, and then I'll show you a little bit of clip of the robots. Here's the gecko running up a vertical surface. There it goes in real time. There it goes again. Obviously, we have to slow this down a little bit. You can't use regular cameras, so you have to take 1,000 pictures per second to see this. And here's some video at 1,000 frames per second. And I want you to look at the animal's back. Do you see how much it's bending like that? We can't figure that out. That's an unsolved mystery. We don't know how it works. If you have a son or a daughter that wants to come to Berkeley, come to my lab and we'll figure this out. Okay? Send them to Berkeley, because that's the next thing we want to do. Here's the gecko mill. It's a see-through treadmill with a see-through treadmill belt, so we can watch the animal's feet and videotape them through the treadmill belt to see how they move. And here's the animal that we have here running on a vertical surface. Pick a foot and try to watch a toe and see if you can see what the animal's doing. See it uncurl and then peel these toes. It can do this in 14 milliseconds. This is unbelievable. All right, here are the robots that they inspired, the mecho-geckos from iRobot. First, you'll see the animal's toes peeling. Look at that. And here's the peeling action of the mecho-gecko. It uses a pressure-sensitive adhesive to do it. Peeling in the animal, peeling in the mecho-gecko. That allowed it to climb autonomously. It can go on the flat surface, transition to a wall, and then go onto a ceiling. There's the bulldozer version. Now, it doesn't use pressure-sensitive glue. The animal does not use that. Okay, but that's what we're limited to at the moment. What does the animal do? The animal has weird toes, and if you look at the toes, they have these little leaves there. And if you blow them up and zoom in, you'll see that there's little striations in these leaves. And if you zoom in 270 times, you'll see it looks like a rug. And if you blow that up and zoom in 900 times, you see there are hairs there. Tiny hairs. And if you look carefully, those tiny hairs have striations. And if you zoom in on those 30,000 times, you'll see each hair has split ends. And if you blow those up, they have these little structures on the end. The smallest branches of the hairs look like spatula, and an animal like that has 1 billion of these nano-sized split ends to get very close to the surface. In fact, there's the diameter of your hair. A gecko has 2 million of these, and each hair has 100 to 1,000 split ends. Well, think of the contact of that's possible. We were fortunate to work with another group at Stanford that built us a special MEMS sensor that we were able to measure the force of an individual hair. Here's an individual hair with a little split ends there. When we measured the forces, they were enormous. They were so large that a patch of hairs about this size, the gecko's foot, could support the weight of a small child, about 40 pounds easily. Now, how do they do it? We've recently discovered this. Do they do it by friction? No. Force is too low. Do it by electrostatics? No, you can change the charge, they still hold on. Do they do it by interlocking? That's kind of like a Velcro-like thing. Nope, you can put them on molecularly smooth surfaces, they don't do it. How about suction? Yeah, they stick on in a vacuum. How about wet adhesion or capillary adhesion? They don't have any glue, and they even stick underwater just fine. If you put their foot underwater, they grab on. How do they do it then? believe it or not, they grab on by intermolecular forces. By van der Waals forces. You know, you probably had this a long time ago in chemistry where you had these two atoms get close together and electrons move around. That tiny force is sufficient to allow them to do that because it's added up so many times with these small structures.